James, right out of the gate, you referenced Bobby Bowden and your loyalty to him. You're covering Florida State coaches since then. You want the program to succeed. Therefore, you want the coaches to succeed. But in terms of loyalty, support, to that degree, it's Bobby Bowden. And I think one of the great testaments to a coach's effectiveness, ability, staying power in a young man's life is exactly what you just framed up at the beginning of the conversation. Regardless of what we think, regardless of the record, regardless of the criticisms of should have won that game, should have won that game, when players are saying 20, 25 years later, that guy did it the right way, he made a mark on my life, he taught me a lot, that means a ton. News came out today that Bobby Bowden's going to receive the first Florida Medal of Freedom. Don't know exactly what that is, but we can probably surmise that it's something comparable to the Congressional Medal of Freedom on a national level. And so what do people need to know about Bobby Bowden, the man?
He's a man who, I'm going to say this first. Obviously, for people who don't know, maybe think I'm Amish. I'm an African-American male with dread. Didn't have them when I played. Came from a rough upbringing, and so many men did. I mean, so many young men that Coach Bobby Bowden, whether it be not just the hood, like trailer park, he went and got all of them. So when I want to say that first, so that when people, a lot of these things like who he voted for and those things, and I'm not trying to make this political, but I'm just telling people, I don't give a damn about who you vote for. I give a damn about how you treat me and mine. And Coach Bowden has been nothing but great to me. And people can say whatever they want to say, but like if I picked up the phone and said, Coach, I really need something, Coach will answer it and he would do for me. Coach Bowden I've got a chance to interview him. He's very aware of what's going on still, even in his older age. And that's what makes him unique, is the ability to, no matter how he met you, to remember you and make you feel important. And I think people dismiss that fact in today's society. I was how many black number 36s has Coach Bowden seen in his entire coaching career? But for him to remember who I am, and I was, either I was better than what I know, which could be true. A lot of people tell me I was pretty good, but I'm not the best number 36 to ever play at Florida State. But Coach Bowden remembers that in the conversations. He remembers things that he shouldn't remember. My sister was going into ninth grade when I went to Florida State. He knew when I saw him for his last game here, they practiced in Jacksonville. He asked me how my sister was doing in track and field. For him to even know that and remember that's way bigger than what a lot of coaches would do. He even recognized, like, wait a minute, you're not from here. Why are you here? Oh, you work here. Okay. He's like, okay. And he was like, hey, it's been 4 years. He's like, I got to use a fullback like you right now. He's like, you got one more year eligibility, right? And, laughing and joking, tongue in cheek. But it's just that little conversation means a lot because of who he is and what he's been. He is loyal to his faith of what he believes in. And that shows that he's a man of principle. He's a very principled man. He does not change. He loves, whether you religious or not, he loves God and the Bible. And what you gonna do every year with him is he gonna take you to a white church, which actually, to be honest with you, when I was there, our white church was our team chaplain, Clint Purvis, who I actually just talked to today, another great man, principal man. Clint just preached for us after practice one day, and that's where we're at. But we actually literally wear a suit, go sit in the black church with no air conditioning, and hear somebody preach before we did fan day. But like Coach Bowden was front row, clapping, swaying off beat, loving every second of it. It wasn't just a thing, and it wasn't one of those things like you see politicians do, like where they just this was something that Coach Bowden truly looked forward to. Coach Bowden made sure we knew who the sheriff was and the chief of police. And, he made sure, like, all he asked you to do was the right thing as much as you can. And he's going to step in and vouch for you. He's going he's going to hold the bat for you. And that's just kind of what he was. And Again, I appreciate it. He could have. A lot of us would not be in the positions that we're in right now had it not been for that man, risking his family, his time with his family. And now it's easy. Like, coaches get paid $5 million a year. If the coaching money was what it is now, Bobby would be being paid what Saban is getting paid. Because he was $2.5 million when I played, and that was unheard of at the time. And again, to let you know how principled he was, the reason why he struggles now, and it's not really even struggling, is he's a handshake deal type guy. He wasn't a paper guy. That coach, he had a coaching, like, basically coach for life contract, but it was a handshake deal. So when Bobby was fired, Bobby didn't get these buyouts that you hear about now. Bobby coached based upon the honor and the word, and that ended up biting him in the butt. But you've never heard him speak ill on the university. You've never heard him speak ill about anybody else. He just takes what he takes, and that those are life lessons in of themselves. So that's why that man means a ton to me, and that's why my loyalty will lie. As far as a coach, he could do no wrong in my eyes. I might not agree. I can always disagree with him. I don't agree with some of his stances, but I respect the hell out of him, and I'm not going to disrespect my coach like that. That's just not how that's not in me to do that, because again, I would not be where matter of fact, people be like, man, you talk well. It's 17-year-old James Coleman going on FSU's campus does not speak the same way that he speaks right now, does not interview the same way he interviews right now. That's because Coach Bowden forced us to do media training. That doesn't mean all of us did it well, but that just means we had the opportunity to learn. 4 years, four times somebody came in and taught us how to conduct an interview, how to talk to somebody, and how to beat and how to engage. I may talk a lot more trash now, but I learned why you don't become locker room material. Bobby never was my locker room material. He always made us say, man, shucks, that guy's good, this guy's that. But he will never berate or down or speak ill on somebody just for, well, now the kids use clout. Because we're Florida State. They already know we better than them. They know what's about to happen. So why we need to rub it in their face on the field? And at the same time, Bobby allowed us to have the confidence and the swag to be able to go out there and be who we were. Now, Jimmy Johnson probably did a little bit better. I ain't gonna lie. Had those boys letting them dance, do backflips. But that all shucks thing that Bobby does, don't get it twisted. Bobby is a goon. Mickey Andrews don't fall up under somebody who's a chump. All those kids that came from those areas don't fall up under a chump. Bobby we was jumping on logos, and like people say, oh, they stepping on him. We was jumping on logos from 80 to 2003 when ESPN finally decided, because we went into Florida, whooped their ass, and then we did what we do every game. Literally before and after games, especially if we win, we are going to the 50 and we're jumping on the logo. But before a game, we jumping on the logo. He blow that whistle. We turn around, take them helmets off, raise them up, walk to the end zone, to the good, bad, and the ugly. That was Bobby allowing us to be able to be who we were as inner city kids, as tough kids that talk trash. But when that whistle blew, we were under control. So again, those are the things that, I mean, some people won't get it because they've never really been in sports. The discipline, I almost joke, like Bobby had 85 really, really violent pit bulls. But we were violent to who he told us to be violent to. When he blew that whistle, we knew, all right, it's time to stop. And normal people probably can't understand that. People who have animals or people who are abnormal, like, it's not normal to put on a helmet and run 20 to 25 miles per hour into another human being. So maybe if you've done that before, you can understand it. But again, it's what he built us up on the field and what he built us up off the field. I could talk all day about Bobby in a great manner. I'm just grateful that he's here. I do know, but just like I got my own grandmothers, one of my grandmothers is ill and the other one, she's doing all right. But I know in the next 10 years, I'm going to do something I haven't done in a while, 3 times. And that's cry. When Bobby goes, I've already told him if I'm working, whatever I'm doing, if Bobby Bowden goes on that day, I'm not coming into work. I might not come to work for a few days because that's I don't know my grandfathers. I know my dad. He's a better granddad than he was a father. But for most of my life, for 4 years, actually not most of my life, for 4 years, Bobby was the closest thing to a consistent male role model that I had. And there's nothing that he can do besides, I don't know. I don't really know. There's nothing that he will do because he's got character that he will do that would change what he meant to me for those 4 years and what those 4 years of development brought me into today. I don't care. Outside of maybe Hitler being reincarnated and him voting for him, and I don't even know that, man. It take a lot of convincing. I may not agree with it, but Bobby was. I judge people based on what they were to me. I can respect others' opinions, just like even with my dad. My dad, I love my father. If somebody tells me my dad's a jerk, I'm gonna agree with them. I've seen it, but that's still my dad. No matter what happens with Bobby, Bobby is and will always be my coach. And there ain't nothing he can do. And I'm proud of him. I don't know what, like you said, I don't know what the hell that award means, but I do know this. If the governor, no matter who the governor, who the politician is, if they recognize you, that's an honor because they didn't have to recognize you.
That is awesome stuff from James Coleman. That's what we get from him on a regular basis anytime he comes on here. And you see on the banner right there all the media obligations he has, and they go beyond Fifth Quarter College Football, Sports Den, and 36 Degrees. So we invite you to head on over there. And I encourage you, not for charity's sake, because I'm asking you to, but because it's worth it, to check out his work on those platforms. And James has a ton of obligations, but he's still, talk about a stand-up guy, contributes here, makes my show whenever he can, contributes here for a number of years, dozens and dozens and dozens, maybe into the hundreds of times at this point. So James, you don't have to do that. Just like Bobby didn't have to do a number of things for you, you didn't ever have to do any of that for me. So we appreciate your contribution, and your word is always top notch where I sit.
All right, man. I try again. I learned that from the old man. And again, I like what you do. I think if anybody's not paying attention to what you're doing with college football, I think they're sadly missing it. It's very unique. You're giving not just the big time people who cover the sport, but the people who really, I think it's the guys who really have a passion for coverage and are trying to be great journalists. You're giving them a great platform, and I think your fans are awesome. Even the ones that come, I think that's what it's about. I think that's what trolling and debating and arguing with respect is what makes college football or college sports in general so great. Somewhere down the line, people, took it to next levels, and I think it came not political in the aspect of, different causes and stuff, but we argue like you argue politics, like you argue sports, and it shouldn't be that. Like, I love when we're doing our FSU thing and the Miami fans come in. I still got that. I keep forgetting. I got the money now. It costs a lot to ship to Ireland or whatever, but just the fact that they'll come on and they support your podcast. I mean, support your YouTube channel. I think that's amazing. I mean, anything that I could do to continue to help you reach those heights that it needs to be at, I'm here for it, man. Like I said, I appreciate it.
Appreciate that, James. You have a great day. Thank you so much for all the time you've given us.
All right, no doubt.